This is the Cossack Squat. Start with your feet wide and turn your toes out at 1 p.m. on the right, 11 p.m. on the left. Squeeze the ground between your feet and then push your hips to one side. If you're going to the left, it's imagining like you're going towards the back left-hand corner. You want to work your knees going over your toes and make sure that your knee points the same direction as your foot. Grip the ground with your opposite toes, opposite foot, and then build up to being able to go deep to where you can get low like this. Eventually you can bring your toes up towards the sky. That's fine. But this is the Cossack Squat. Really good for groin mobility. Here's the Jefferson Curl. Tuck your chin, round your upper back, then one segment of your spine at a time, as low as you can. Keep your knees locked, push your toes into the ground, and then you can work on keeping your heels flat and bending one knee from side to side. You can bend both, like I'm doing here. Eventually build up to being able to go hands to the ground. And then from that position, then you can practice on bending the knees more. We call this the elephant walk. Feel a big stretch in your hamstrings. Then we want to build up to being able to hold the position from the toes and then be able to work towards sitting down in a squat and then coming up onto the toes. You can use support for this. It's a very challenging motion. It's going to work ankle mobility and hip mobility and also your lower core. So this is something to build up to. Use support to begin. Child's pose. Reach your hands as far as you can forwards. Push your hips back. Feel the stretch in the low back. This is great for flexion in the hips. So being able to pull the knee in tight to the chest. You can work from side to side as you do this. Get comfortable rotating those hips. Then get comfortable doing the same thing, sitting on the ankles. Rotate the knees from side to side. Just build up as much as you can to being able to sit back on your ankles. Eventually work up to bringing your hands behind you. And eventually into the full hero's pose, as we call it, where you can bring your shoulder blades towards the ground. And bring your knees wide if you'd like. Tibia rotation. So I'm sitting on my butt. Feet are wider than my knees. And then I'm practice rotating my big toes in and then pinky toes out. I want to keep my knees fixed where they're at and have the motion come from rotating my foot. I'm rotating my leg bone, my lower leg bone, the tibia. So there's a lot of muscles that work this rotation. And this is very, very good. You can practice spreading your toes too from here as you do this. This is very powerful for healthy feet. 90-90 position. So both legs at 90 degrees. Rotate your chest towards your front knee. And then we're going to work on trying to lean in and trying to be able to bring the chest towards the front knee. This is going to open up the outer hip. When you want to go to the other side, keep your heels where they're at. Rotate towards the other side. You can use your hands if you need to. And then when you get to the other side, you can practice rotating the heel up and then the toes up, as you'll see me do in a second. I'm really rotating on my back big toe because that feels really good on my big toe. This has been a weak point for me. But you want to be able to rotate your heel up and then your toes up. You don't really see me do it, but that's what I was doing previously. Lunge hold. Lean in. Keep the torso upright. Try to drive your front knee forwards as far as you can. And then go into the hamstring stretch. So work your front foot forwards. You can go sprinter stance. You could use blocks right here underneath the hands. Really try to reach your front foot forward. Pull the toes up so I'm on the back of my heel as I do this. It's a great stretch for the hamstrings. You can open up the hips a little bit, get it into the groin. Really good for healthy hips, healthy posterior chain, the backside of the body, the hamstrings, the calves, all the tissue back there. That's what we're opening. Don't forget to do the other side. Lunge position, hold. Squeeze the back glute, lean forwards. That is, drive your front knee forwards, keep your chest up. And then when you want to go into the hamstring stretch, you see how I got there. Hands could go to blocks if you need them, and then just drive your front foot forwards as far as you can. Pull the toes up, feel the stretch in the hamstring. As you get more comfortable, eventually you can do what I'm doing, where I'm using my hands and then eventually go palms flat. Great hamstring stretch. That's a wrap.